this has been kind of weird with this stuff going on in Israel. I find myself in agreement with people who I never thought I would agree with. And at the same time, I consider myself to be rather conservative. But I know the other day I was out on the road grader all day and I was listening to a conservative radio station, and it was really pissing me off. I agreed with absolutely nothing they had to say. Uh, but I find myself agreeing, oddly enough, for the first time ever with that Greta Thunberg. Odd. And like AOC, that's just odd to me. They're not my people. But I thought it was funny she had that Thunberg had put out a post and she got in trouble for it because there was like four of her chums sitting there, and also in the picture was a little blue octopus, a little blue stuffed octopus. Now, I would have never heard, I had never heard of this before, but Israel immediately got upset, said this was an anti-Semitic thing. I had never heard of that before. It's funny how people can get touchy about stuff, bizarre stuff. So she had to repost it with a picture with the octopus cut out. Now, I've always been intrigued by octopus or octopi. I always figure, if we ever discover alien life, it's going to be a lot like an octopus. They're fascinating animals. But evidently, the Nazis used this as a symbol of the grasping nature of the Jew. But that was a new one to me. But there's stuff all the time comes up that is new to me. But I can see now, after they said it, I can see where that could be something that could come up back, in Hitler's days. But there's some relevance there. I know I was surprised one day when Blinken made his trip over there. And he lands, and the first thing he says when he gets out of the plane, it's good to be home. Now, he considers Israel home. Why is he our Secretary of State if his home is in Israel? This whole dual citizenship thing has got to come to an end. We can't have people in government that have this dual citizenship status. That's just not a good deal. And there are a lot of countries that forbid that. And I think we should be one. I saw another little clip too, where, I had mentioned the other day about them using that white phosphorus. And I'll be damned if they didn't do it again. They did it one time, years ago, swore they would never do it again, and then they did it again. And like these doctors in the hospital, they don't know how to treat this stuff, because it's nasty. I mean, if you get a wound with that, as soon as it hits oxygen, hits open air, it bursts into flames again. It's nasty stuff, which is why it is forbidden. But I think our State Department referred to it as questionable ammunition. But I noticed, too, the first plane load of ammunition we sent over there, so they have to show the plane unloading this stuff, the crates of this stuff, but they went to the bother of pixelating out the labels on the crates so you couldn't see what it is because you know damn well that's some more evil stuff that they're sending over there. Ah, well. Okay, what you're looking at is a grove of what we call popple, but is actually good quaking aspen, and they're really nice trees. You know, the leaves hang on them late into the winter, and when there's wind, they rattle, and they get a bright orangish color. But I thought it's interesting. You know, we've got different plots in them around here. You know, they've always been here, but they're an interesting tree. Uh, there's one out in Utah that is considered to be, well, it's not one, it's like 47,000 trees, but they're all clones of one tree. You know, they can seed, but they prefer to grow from the roots. They just keep cloning themselves. And, you know, the main tree lives for like 150 years and it dies off, but it's always replenished by these small trees coming up. But they figure that tree is like, or that group of trees, well, it's got a name called Pando, is what it's called, but it's between 8 and 12,000 years old. It's one of the oldest living organisms on the planet. I think there's a fungus someplace that's even older. But that's pretty impressive, really. But this deal with this octopus thing, that to me struck me odd because, like I say, I never heard of it. I bet 99% of the people in the world never heard of it. But they jumped on it. You know, it's funny how people can do that. It's everything is racist that you never thought would be racist, but all of a sudden it is. You know, now everything is anti-Semitic, and that's what that damn poor stuffed octopus was. So now, evidently, they're going to be pulling stuffed octopuses off the shelves. Weird world we are living in. Battery ain't dead, so I was going to say one other thing. Really watch out. There is so much fake crap going on around, fake videos. A lot of times they'll take videos from years ago in some other whole different country and claim this was shot yesterday. You know, really watch that stuff. Don't believe people on stuff. But these trees, they're real. But I guess next I can go to the dollar store after see if I can find myself an octopus. I ain't never considered myself to be anti-Semitic, but by God, I'm getting there.